Say what? What? What?
She a TikTok hot, you know she a freak, you know she a freak. She gon' serve it to the left, you know I'm gon' hit, you know I'm gon' hit. She a TikTok hot, you know she a freak, you know she a freak. She gon' serve it to the left, you know I'm gon' hit, you know I'm gon' hit. New school bully on the streets, hey, you know that we pack it.
Hey y'all, so we're about to go meet up with Josh. He went and put a new map on the car, basically trying to figure out a timing issue with the idle. I am currently driving the Great White Whale. I dropped off the car there, borrowed his truck for a few so I could do some grocery shopping while he was doing that. Girlfriend and I were supposed to be doing a lot of stuff this afternoon, but because some people fell through on plans, that didn't really work out. So instead, I spent a little too much time working on the car over at Josh's, and I shouldn't have. And then I have to borrow the truck. Yeah, she's a little upset with me. But I'm really hoping tomorrow I can surprise her and make her feel better. She ended up having to work a bit extra at her work tomorrow. She had to cover. And I decided to invite over a bunch of her friends over to my house so that we can do a barbecue and do a fire in the backyard in the fire pit and just have a bunch of people around that actually, you know, care about her and miss and love her and whatnot. So that's kind of where my hope's at. So yeah, see how this goes. I'm gonna try and get some video while I'm out with Josh and actually get some driving and maybe a couple poll videos. So let's see how this goes.
One hit and we leave.
One hit.
I'm ready when you are, bud.
Huh?
I'm ready when you are.
Is that right around this corner?
Yeah, right around that corner. Travis's first time on a street map here.
Where's a lot longer than I thought it was.
Here we go.
What's happening, everybody? So this video is gonna end up being a little bit less on the car and a little bit more talking to you about what it's like to own a high horsepower Subaru, because a lot of people wonder that. I'll end up popping the hood on Onyx. This video is going to be a little bit informal. I'm going to be trying to think of words and whatnot. We're also getting ready this week to go to Import Face Off in Seattle. So I'm super excited about that. Right now I have Josh McGee on his way over because, as some of you have seen, I got his new tires in the mail and he came over, picked them up. Well, he just pulled his wheels and tires off of Skish that is out at Ranch Build, just got the cage finished up, and just got the harnesses put in, so that's really exciting for him. The car should be getting picked up tomorrow, and then we're going to spend some very hard time, well, Josh is going to spend some very hard time tuning and trying to figure out the car to get it dialed in. So hopefully that McGee can make it and compete in Import Face-Off this coming weekend. Depending on how much content I get in this video, I might end up putting some video from Import Face-Off in this. If not, it'll be coming in the next one, and there should be some drag pulls, there should be some other cars, just video of the event and some of the people there. I know that some of you guys live in Seattle, so hopefully I run into you. I had a couple Instagram followers talk to me about Import Face-Off, and they said they're super excited to check out the car, so that's really sweet. But a request that I actually got for a video was to sit down and talk about what kind of maintenance you do with a 1,000 horsepower Subaru. I'm going to try and get some input from Josh in this also. I'm probably going to end up running to his house probably tomorrow or something, and I'll talk to him about it. But that's the nitty-gritty. So here in a bit, I will catch up with you. I'll start talking parts. I'll start talking prices and numbers, and we'll get to it. I'm also going to get a video of McGee showing up. We're going to throw his wheels and his slicks in the bed of my truck so that I can take them down and get them changed out and mounted tomorrow so that I can run the Rotas, the 16-inch setup on my car for Import Face-Off. So I'll talk to you guys in just a bit.
STSE.
Buddy.
Hi, guy.
How you doing?
You know, doing the YouTube things. How are you?
Good, good. What's going on?
It's another day. About to head over to the girlfriend's and eat some food. So
Yeah, that sounds
gonna load
real
these up
good
and
right
head
now.
out. Dude,
Yeah,
she's already
I'm
hangry.
Oh, dude, I'm on the same page.
She's like, hey, can you be at my house in like 20 minutes? I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I got like 5 minutes to
Yeah,
get there.
I'm on the same page, brother.
So we're gonna load these up in the car or in the back of the truck real quick. I'm gonna take them over to the Les Schwab tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
This is gonna be great. All right, so it's the next day. I'm about to go pick up the tires from Les Schwab, go to the gym and work out. But I got Onyx over here, hiding. You can see it. But anyways, to kind of elaborate on the stuff that typically goes bad or you gotta spend money on the car. Oil changes. Oil changes all the time. You're not doing your oil change every 2,000 to 3,000 miles. When you start pushing higher horsepower, especially if you take after Josh Bader at all, if your car makes it to its first or second oil change, that car is doing really good. Like your actual scheduled oil change. Whereas for us, you know, in your winter time or your normal daily driving, we have to run thicker oil. But especially in the summertime when it's hot, we have to run very thick oil. Very thick oil. Some people, you know about it. I don't think it's much of a secret of what oil we use. I'm not going to necessarily disclose it. Let's just go with it's thick. It should be considered diesel oil to some people. But it gets changed out a lot. You're spending tons on coolant because you're constantly doing work on the car. You got to pull the engine. You got to do any work on it. Normally, you got to drop the radiator. So stock up. And we buy like Subaru brand coolant, which ends up being what, $40, $50 a jug. You're changing it out pretty often. On top of that, spark plugs. It's a good habit to change out your spark plugs after every track day. We're out here doing street pulls and stuff. We should definitely, keep an eye on them. You check them. But After every track day, when you turn it up, you put it on your kill map, you go out and you send it, change your spark plugs. So we spend money on that. That's another $50 every track day. Spend money on the admission for the track tickets. Fuel. We just finally got a E85 gas station here, local to us in Spokane. And E85 is about $3 a gallon at that pump. Well, previously before we didn't have anything, and sadly the Thunderbolt facility burned down, and I'm terribly saddened by that. I needed some, but we're paying, you know, over $200 a 55-gallon drum, so paying $4.50-ish per gallon by the time that we were getting it to us. But we're buying E98, so I mean, it kind of makes up for it. But that's a lot of money right there. Another one is axles. For some reason, I was thinking clutches and talking about it this whole time. Just caught myself. Axles. So I've gone through, I've had to change them out 4 times, I think, on the front, just the front, because I have a Honda foot, so we call it. To explain what that is, when you come up to the line, you go to load your clutch, you start to lift up until you just feel it start to grab, and then you're supposed to come straight up. That's what you do. Me, I have a Honda foot, and what that means is when I come up off the clutch, and as soon as I feel it start to grab, my foot goes sideways. So the clutch snaps up and puts full power onto those front axles. Stock front axles don't like that. I broke them. And I went to O'Reilly's. Thankfully, they had a lifetime warranty on their axles. And I had to cash in on that 3 times. Last time, well, second to last time, I ended up paying extra. Got the upgraded front axles. Yeah, those didn't even last through the track night. I ended up having to replace them after like 2 days, 3 days maybe. Granted, I didn't talk to him about how much power I was pushing, so we won't worry about that. But because of that, and because of snapping those axles when those break, it shocks your drivetrain, and it sends all that power that was distributed from the 4 tires and shockwaves it through your transmission and tries to go to the rear tires. And that's what broke my output shaft, was that power transition coming so fast from the front axles breaking. That's why my output shaft would break. And so it's something I need to train myself to stop doing. It's a big problem. Spends lots of money. But I upgraded to the DSS front and rear axles. Haven't had an issue yet. I've been doing a lot better with my foot. A lot of the maintenance on the car depends on how you drive. So there's that. Tires, yes and no. I mean, you're doing burnouts, you're taking them out, doing all kinds of stuff. They don't go out that often. Brakes get worn in pretty quick. Definitely need to keep an eye on those. If you're a perfectionist like some of us, like you'll scratch your bumper, scrap it, get a new one. Hose clamps. I've had to replace hoses because like my coolant line to my AOS, when we threw the car back together, for some reason it looked like a hole burned through one of the hoses, and it was super hard and caved in. Had to replace it. So keep an eye on your hoses, make sure that they stay fresh and they stay soft. Cleaning your injectors, that one happens too. Especially if you run E85, don't let the car sit for too long with E85 in the system, because what it does is it gunks up in the system if it sits for too long. Can't let that happen. If you're gonna let your car sit, do flex fuel, pump gas. Pump gas can sit in it. That's fine for, you know, longer amounts of time, not super long. Trailer expenses, if you're going long distances, that one comes up a lot. And because if you're renting them, then it adds up. When we went to Texas, I paid, thankfully through my job, I was able to rent a trailer for $450 for 10 days. So really wasn't bad. I'm not complaining about that. It was nice. They hooked me up. Granted, I had to replace tires on the trailer, so fuel from traveling, food. Honestly, like, there's nothing too crazy about driving a car with this much power until you're out there. Like I said, it depends how you drive it. If you're railing on it every day, you're replacing parts. Easy said. Like, if you're sitting out there and you miss a gear and you bounce it off the rev limiter, you're probably replacing a head gasket. And when you replace the head gasket, you got to go deck the heads. If your heads are decked too many times, you're going to have to replace them, or you're going to have to replace pulleys. At least, because I got those IAG pulleys in there because my heads have been decked so many times. And your new gaskets, you got to fix the block. Sometimes you got to eat a bearing and you got to replace a whole long block. It happens. Haven't had to replace the turbo yet. Haven't had to replace exhaust. Nothing like that. This old lady's eyeballing the hell out of my car when she was walking by. I don't know if she hates on it or she liked it. But man, I looked in my mirror and she just makes my day sometimes. But anyways, I'm going to run to the gym. Those are just some ideas of things that tend to go out. You're looking a lot, clutches, if anything. Like I said, it depends on your driving style, people. Don't go out there and rail on your high horsepower car. We have multiple maps on the car for a reason. I have a low boost map for 28 pounds. Granted, that's still well over 500 horsepower, but the horsepower compared to what it's built for, it'll last longer. I can daily it on that. I can drive it. But if I'm out there putting it on 1,000 plus and going out and railing it, it's only got so many runs before something goes wrong. So that's a big thing that you got to remember when it comes to these cars. If I think of anything else, I will chime in here in a bit and try and give you guys an idea of anything else that, comes up cost-wise. Thankfully, no speeding tickets yet. I haven't gotten any noise tickets for my exhaust yet either, so fingers crossed that doesn't happen. Knock on wood if I had some in the truck, but that's where I'm at. But I will talk to you guys in just a bit.
You're going for trying to do records and try to do something with the car. Obviously, you're going to have parts that fail. That's the point of racing, and getting into racing, you're knowing that nothing is meant to last forever when you're using it hard.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how good of an engine builder you are. It doesn't matter how good a part is. Eventually, it's going to fail.
Shit breaks.
And especially when you're talking about a 4-cylinder engine, when we start making upwards of 300 plus a cylinder, they're not meant for it. So we're trying to find ways to make it work, and obviously trying to make it stronger. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's still a 4-cylinder engine. So
you're pushing it way past what its limits are supposed to be.
There's always going to be a lifespan on that engine at that power level. And some people will sugarcoat it and some will hide it, and the reality of it, and the people that do it, that's all around every bit of every racing community possible. You'll hide it, and you get some people that are honest about it, and then the people that are honest get heat for it and wrath for it and get judged by it, and that's the difference. So then they end up not being honest and not showing stuff because you get judged. And the point of it is, you build your car, it's your money, your time, all invested into it. It depends on what your goal is with the car. We figured out how to make these motors last pretty well at 700 wheel.
Yeah, but past that,
there becomes maintenance. And to the normal person, the maintenance that we say is not normal maintenance to them.
Right.
There's a lot of things out there where people say a head gasket is a failure. I don't believe it is a failure. I think it's more, at that power level, it's knowing maintenance.
Yeah, at that point, it's redeck the head, replace the radiator and the gasket.
Right, depending on what gasket you're using. Sometimes, if you're using a JE Pro Seal, which most of you are at 700 wheel, and you lose a gasket, you can just slap another gasket on and make sure that the head's flat and you don't lose the radiator.
Yeah, then there's the rest of us.
Yeah, you use a Athena gasket, and obviously when things go wrong, they amplify those things that go wrong. That's why you lose a radiator, but you're able to push the limits and go further with that same gasket. So you're just added and.
It's not like we're pushing gaskets at 800. We're pushing gaskets at 1,000 plus.
Exactly. We've grown with time. And every company is different in how you do it, but we're all working with the same product, and there's only so many ways to do things. So, you know, you compare and compare and compare, and at the end of the day, maybe they're working the same, or they're building something the same.
And like I harped, it's how you drive the car. Because you can go out there and, you know, you miss a shift and bounce it off rev limiter real quick. You're probably going to... Yeah, me. Like me. You're going to take out a gasket. You're going to take out a radiator. Probably take out a couple other things.
You know, at that power level, if you do miss shift, it is very hard on the car.
Yeah.
You know, because most times we have the limiters pretty high on these cars and pretty aggressive. So when you do miss a shift, it's not good for the car. Especially when we have a factory ECU in the car. And obviously you guys can hear in the videos that we have some special resources that others don't. And one of those being launch control. That is obviously a patch, I guess is what you'd call it for the factory ECU. You know, a proper way of calling it that. And unfortunately, that patch doesn't work very well when you miss a gear and you go back into the load table that we have.
Yeah, that's a big problem, is because it goes back into the cells where that patch is at.
Right.
And when it does that, it messes with the pressure inside the cylinders and causes a whole bunch of issues. Hey, I'm sorry, I had to cut the video off there. I ended up getting a phone call, and afterward, I ended up having to leave. But this is a long video. It's got plenty of polls in it. It's got information about what you typically look at driving higher horsepower cars. Hopefully it was information to you guys. And I'm about to go wash the truck and wash Onyx because we're leaving for import face-off. Today, it's Saturday. But we got a hotel. Josh is flying out. Josh McGee ended up getting his car together and running. I'm going to wash both of them. And I got to go to Post Falls, which is about 45 minutes or so away, and pick up a trailer. So, all right, we'll talk to you guys later. I hope you enjoyed the video. Next one's coming with a lot of drag video and a lot of video of import face-off. So, hope you enjoy it.